Welcome to our adventure book where we help you turn family travel dreams into unforgettable memories. We are your host. I'm Jenny,
And I'm Eve.
and this podcast is designed to help take the stress out of family travel. So let's get started.
Ooh, I'm excited to with you today because we recently talked about traveling with teens. So in today's episode, we're going to give tips on traveling with little kids. So between the two of us, we have 7 kids now ages between ages 20 to 9. We definitely learned through experience on traveling with kids of all ages. We're excited to share some tips with you today. When we talked about traveling with teens, we gave 4 tips. So today we're going to jump right back in and give 4 tips on traveling with littles. So, Jenny, what's a tip that you would like to share today?
So, my first tip is to choose a destination that is kid friendly. I would say most travel destinations are kid friendly, but I really would try to choose one, like do a little bit of research and make sure there are things at that destination that your child is going to enjoy. Like if you want to take a trip that revolves around hiking, your kid might not like that. So make sure you pick something that is definitely a little bit age appropriate. Some kids' maturity levels are different, but I think overall, finding a place that everyone is going to enjoy is really going to make your trip smoother.
Absolutely. That's a great tip because I remember we were so excited to go visit Yellowstone. And I started doing some research and I was like, that is a lot of driving in between places. And at the time, I think our youngest was maybe 18 months old, 2 years old. And we are like, maybe we put that trip off for a couple of
Yeah.
years. And then we did. And then we went when I don't know how old he was, maybe 5. And now he's 9 and he still says that's one of his favorite trips ever.
Yep.
So, that's a great tip.
That's awesome.
All right, great. My first tip is take the trip. Take the trip if you can swing it. I think it's really easy when you're in, sometimes I call them the hurt locker years. You're just trying to survive, or things can be a little hard, or you think it's going to be really hard traveling with little kids. Find, like Jenny said, find a destination that's appropriate and then take the trip. My sister-in-law, Julie, I think she's very inspirational with this because she takes her little kids who are now 4 and 2 to Disneyland. And at first, when she did that, I was like, why are you taking them? And she was like, well, it's about my memories as well and me seeing them as having, watching their experiences. And now, like, they're going back again this year. And she's like, I'm like, "That is really cool that they were able to take their kids even when they were little and make those memories and have those pictures and look back on stuff," and her little kids are already Disney fanatics, so
Yeah, and something just to kind of keep in mind when it comes to that is traveling with little kids is a lot cheaper than traveling with big kids. They eat less. They're the kid price for almost every place. And at Disney, they're free under 3. So that's something to keep in mind as well is it is cheaper to travel when they're little.
great point.
Okay, so my next tip is kind of when you're on your trip, plan to eat dinner early. You're not gonna stay on your regular schedule. Your kids might stay up later than usual, but they might wear out a lot sooner as well. And so my biggest tip is just plan to eat your dinner early and then you can kind of see where the evening takes you. It'll give you an opportunity to maybe walk around the town you're staying in while your kid sleeps in the stroller or stop and get ice cream because you've already had that dinner. And this will just prevent kids from getting frustrated and upset and not being able to express themselves because they are just hungry. So if you make sure you kind of have that early dinner and just see where the evening takes you. The evening could take you back to your hotel room for you and your significant other to just relax and hang out while your kids sleep.
I love that, but I'm also gonna say, I think this is a great tip for me. I personally am an old lady at heart, and I love to eat dinner early, and then I don't get cranky, and then you can walk it off and everything, so sometimes my big teens are like, "Why are we eating dinner at 5 o'clock?" And I'm like, "'Cause it's the perfect time to eat dinner."
Yes, it really is. You're not meant to eat late. And when you have older kids, you can eat later if that's just where the day takes you. But yeah, all ages plan to eat early.
Okay, let's see. My next tip is actually just when you're traveling, you take gum on the flights when you need to pop your ears and things like that. And then I always just took lollipops for my kids just to get that, where they can get their eardrums to pop. And that was as easy instead of messing with gum with little kids because you always feel so bad when you're on a flight and the kid's having ear problems. So throw those lollipops in your bag. Also just throw those like really lightweight books. I put them in the suitcase. I put them in our bags. You have your favorite books. We'd always want to take our board books and everything on our trips, but those lightweight readers are so perfect for traveling with little kiddos.
The lollipops is such a good tip because when we started flying with our youngest when she was pretty young, she did not understand what was happening on a plane. And I think a lot of kids are in that same boat. They don't understand that feeling. So having something and being prepared to help them is so smart.
Yeah, I mean, even something like, those applesauce packets,
Hmm.
things like that that just get them swallowing. Um, Definitely throw those in your bag.
For sure. Okay, so my next tip is don't over plan. Like your little kid, if you pass a playground where you're at, they're gonna want to stop and play. And you know what? You should let them stop and play because this is their vacation too. And this will be a great memory for them. It'll be a great opportunity for you to just kind of sit down and rest and maybe look at the rest of your day. But just don't over plan your day. I would let when we were traveling with our little kids, I like to have one big thing that we were doing that day and then just kind of see where the day was going to take us for the rest of the day. If you're visiting a new town, plan to do something and then just walk around the town and explore it. Or hop on your Apple or Google Maps and see where a local park is and take your kid over to that park and just let them play and run off some, burn some steam, burn some energy, and that will just make everyone happier.
I love that tip because, again, I think it's something that you just overlook. You're
Hmm.
like, I got to do these things when I'm in this area. But so many places have amazing parks or just simple little parks, and you can get out for
Hmm.
10, 15 minutes and it can change the entire day. I love that.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to take a lot of time. I can remember when we were in San Francisco and we were in Little Italy and we got some gelato, there was a little park across the street. We just let the kids run over there. It was like 10 minutes, but they had the best time and kind of had some agency over their day as well by getting to do something that was interesting to them.
Yeah, love that. Okay, great. Well, my last tip is to not only take a change of clothes for your little kids. I usually put them like in a gallon Ziploc bag, put it down in their backpack so it's always there, or PJs or however you're traveling, but also take a change for you, especially like just a shirt. Because if you're traveling with little ones that are still in diapers, there is nothing worse than having an accident and that accident somehow gets on you and you're very super prepared for your little kids, but not for you. Been there, done that, then started carrying a change of clothes for myself as well.
That is such a good tip. Yes, moms and dads need to pack an extra shirt, just a shirt, because usually it's always lands on the shirt.
Yes.
Yes, it's so smart. And it'll help you save money because most likely you're going to stop and try to buy something because no one wants to walk around dirty.
Yeah, you don't need a $60 sweatshirt, from the airport when you can just roll one up in the bottom of your bag.
Absolutely. Okay, so our adventure bit tip of the week is we're going to talk about our favorite trips that we've taken with our little kids. Eve, what you got?
Okay, I can think of 2 things just off the top of my head. The first one is going to Disney World. Like, that was just so magical, so worth doing, and we've taken my parents and my in-laws on several trips, and it's just really wonderful with little kids to have extra sets of hands, especially, if you do have a little range in ages in your kids, then you can go with the older kids to ride rides, and the grandparents just love to, do the carousel, their small little kid things with them. So, I would say that's my favorite one. And then also I have to throw in there just making a simple trip of like going to the beach. Sometimes that can be stressful, but there's ways to figure everything out with that. Um, Traveling with little kids and some of our best memories was taking my parents with us. They were very, very helpful. And then, they get to all have those memories together.
Yeah, it's always nice to have extra people with they're helping you out, take some of the pressure off, and also having extra people there can also like just make everyone a little bit more relaxed because there's more eyes on the little ones.
Yeah, and, my parents love to get, like, the similar room to us, and so we have 4 kids, and they would, take a kid or 2 in their room, so it just gave everybody more space as well with the little ones.
That's that's awesome. So, my favorite trip that we took, this was actually really hard because I have a lot of really great memories from trips, but I would have to say when we went to Colorado and we visited Denver and Colorado Springs. Denver, shockingly, is so great to travel with kids. We did go like pre-COVID, so I'm not sure how things are now, but a lot of the museums were free. So just going into a museum, not having to pay, it being very kid-friendly and interactive was so fun. And these weren't like kid designed museums. These were museums for all ages. So we went to a firefighter museum, we went to a railroad museum, and my kids just loved it. It was so much fun. Plus, Denver has a lot of parks and like kid friendly play areas in the city. So we would just walk around, good food, like food everyone enjoyed, and stop at these little places. And then we drove down to Colorado Springs, which is not very far. It was a really easy drive. And Colorado Springs is so fun for little kids. We went and rode the train at Pikes Peak, which my kids thought was amazing. We went to the Royal Gorge, which is like the longest suspension bridge. They had like a carousel and other little carnival rides there. That was so fun. And then we visited Garden of the Gods, which is a beautiful park that had some really easy hiking options for kids. And I'm talking paved sidewalks, like just short little paved sidewalks that you're like my kids felt like we're hiking, like, we're doing this, and really, it was just like a walk, but beautiful sights, beautiful weather, it was so much fun.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, I have to ask, did you guys go on the suspension bridge?
We did.
Oh, you're crazy. Was it scary? We went on a suspension
Um,
bridge somewhere, Canada? I don't know, and I almost had a panic attack.
so this bridge was really sturdy. Now, if there is, like, high winds, they will not let you go on it, but the bridge felt really sturdy and didn't move at all. What was crazy is there's a river that runs under it, and people were whitewater rafting, and they looked so far away. It really, like, highlighted how high you were.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're very brave.
My boys loved it. I remember one of them was, like, running across. We were like, "You don't have to like, this isn't a race. Let's just enjoy the walk."
Oh my gosh, well, you definitely made some memories.
Yep, we definitely made some memories.
All right, well, awesome. Well, let's share. We're at that point now where we're going to share a magical moment, another memory on a vacation that we've had with our smaller kids. So I know you just told us about some good ones, but tell us another one.
Yeah, so this is a funny memory that we have. We used to take our kids snow skiing every year to New Mexico, and when my daughter was about 4 years old, we were like, "You're ready for ski lessons." We really wanted her to learn how to ski the proper way so she would learn safety. And she did not wanna go to ski school. She absolutely did not wanna go, and we signed her up for 3 days. However, she only made it 2 days because on the 2nd day, we're skiing, we're having a great time. We look up and we see her class skiing down the mountain, and she is hysterically crying, but skiing, like, absolutely perfect. Like, her wedge was perfect, her turns were perfect, and she's just screaming, crying. And they got to the bottom, and the instructor was a teenager. He was so flustered. He was like so we went over there because 'cause we're like, "Oh my gosh, is she okay?" And he's like, "Your daughter is a great skier, but she just cries nonstop." So she was a ski school dropout. We're like, "Okay, she's learning the basics at this point. We'll just let her ski with us." But we have the funniest video of her just screaming, crying, skiing down this hill with all these kids who are, like, perfectly acting, like, having a great time, and she was just miserable.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. And
It
I'm
was
so
so
happy you
funny.
have that on video.
Yes, it's so funny, and it's just her personality. We're like, "What was wrong?" And she's like, "I just didn't wanna do it." But then we're like, "Do you wanna ski with us?" "Yes." "Okay, I don't know."
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
So funny.
That's funny. Well, mine is like funny, but not kind of funny. Funny, yeah. It also goes in hand with another tip that I guess I would throw in there now, which is buy those little puke bags. We everybody when we travel, everybody has like the little blue puke bag that they put into their backpack and we put them in the cars and everything because we have multiple people in our family who get motion sick. And in fact, at one point we said it's not a family trip until so and so throws up. And we were in Maryland one time and we were driving around this park where my husband grew up and ran cross country. And it was kind of windy and it was yeah, we had some road sickness, and it happened all over the car seat. And so we were going from that park to the airport. And so we literally just threw our car seat away at the park. And so I know that's kind of gross and not really funny, but like when I look back on it, I'm like, because it's part of our family trips, we're like, okay, yeah, that was funny. Sometimes we just had to dump the car seat and move on.
That
Now,
is really
from then, that's
funny.
when we got those peak bags after that.
I mean, I think that was probably your best option because there is nothing worse than driving in a car when someone has been sick and dealing and, like, smelling that. I would have dumped
Yeah.
it as well. That was a fantastic move.
Feels like ages ago now, but I don't regret that.
Yeah, I know. That's probably one of the best travel decisions you've ever made.
Yeah.
Kids are so funny, and traveling with little kids is always just gonna bring something memorable, good, bad,
Absolutely.
that's definitely worth it. Always, always worth it.
Yep. They remember that stuff too.
They do. Yep, especially the older siblings. They love to rag the little siblings for the things they've done. All right, so that is our show today. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate all of your support. If you are enjoying the show, we would love if you left us a positive review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video and comment below. Tell us some of your, travel adventures with little kids. If you have questions about traveling with little kids, let's say you're a young family and you haven't really taken off into the travel world yet, drop your question in the comments. We would love to talk to you and interact and give you the best advice that we can give you. If there's a show topic that you might be interested in, Eve, when you mentioned beach trips could be stressful, I thought maybe we should do an episode on beach travel tips because that is so true. Beach trips can be stressful. So if you have any questions, drop those in the comments as well. And we would love to talk to you about that.
Yes, we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday for a new episode. And remember, the best stories are the ones you live together.